Hello everybody, this is Jeremy from SpraySync, and today we're going to talk about a new feature called Bring Your Own Data that we have that we've released. And so there is a layers tab that we haven't enabled this maybe everywhere yet, but it's kind of in an initial preview, but here's a run through of it. So a new layers tab, and so this allows you, what the concept of bring your own data is, to allow you to bring shape files that you have of other GIS data that you want to see while you're spraying within SpraySync. So these might be for a bunch of different use cases. You might want to see landowner data. You might want to see, you have like no spray maps, which are particular areas that you want to make sure that your team or contractors that you have working, that they know to skip over. And there's also could be water table, where you want to make sure if there's a area that's commonly going to flood in the spring, or is where water tends to pool. Maybe those are areas you want to stay away from spraying. So a bunch of different reasons that you might want to bring your own data into there. So I'm going to go through, before I actually add a file here, I'm going to sort of go through a couple files that we have. So we've been working with some people that we know in the spraying. Some are customers, some aren't. But to get some information, and some of it we've got from people, some we've also gone out to public sites and been able to pull. So what I'm going to actually focus on is some data that we have from Cass County, North Dakota to start. So we've got a file here that is a shape file. And if you kind of take a peek inside the file, there's actually like multiple layers in here. There's a water table and there's a sensitive area. So for them, it's like a sensitive area is basically a no spray map, and then the water table is the water table. So I'm using a free program here, QGIS. I'm gonna overlay. I'm just gonna drag this on top so we can take a peek at it before we bring it into SpraySync. So this file, like I said, it's kind of parsing it out, telling what's in there. And so we've got, you can see this data here. So this is Cass County, North Dakota. It's right around Fargo, North Dakota. So we've got, if I go in, I can zoom. So you see this in two different spots. I've got the red is this sensitive area. Those are kind of all over along certain roads. And then you've got the green here in this tool is showing the water table areas. So this goes all the way. You can kind of see the county border there too. So it's butting up right against the county, but is data just for this county. So that's one. Let's try and upload that one and see what that one looks like. So if I add a layer file, I can browse onto my downloads and just upload this .zip file, which is how the shape files typically come in. So I'm going to upload this, and it's going to give me, it's going to go through, we open up the file, we check it. We have to make sure it's going to work. We have a lot of checks to make sure that the data inside of it looks good and everything. So, there might be a case where you have a file, if you're wanting to do this yourself and it might be bigger. We kind of found that, there's kind of some limits to kind of our processing time and stuff. So, kind of initially here with the first initial release of this feature, if you have some issues with it, you just let us know, and we can work on the file and uploading it and getting it up there for you. So what it does, it sort of does like a little, inspection of the file, and it found both of those two layers that were inside. And you actually have the ability to just pick certain jobs that you want that to show up on. So it doesn't have to show up on every single job. It might not make sense. Maybe this is your data for the year 2023, so you would only want it on 2023 jobs. You only have to do that. And maybe certain jobs you don't care. Maybe they're like a private landowner job, and you're not worried about the other things. I kind of added a couple jobs here just to kind of show this data in an isolated fashion. So we have other things that we're gonna play around with uploading, but so I'm just gonna add to that one job. And then one of the things is like, well, this is a sensitive area, so to me it almost makes sense that that's like a red thing. If it's a sensitive area, you don't want to spray there. So let's make that one red. And then the water table, kind of like that, but let's go maybe a little lighter on the blue. Some of our spraying kind of shows up in a dark blue color, so it makes sense if it's a water table, kind of a water blue type color. So let's do that, and then we can confirm. And so you can choose if you have a file with multiple layers. You can choose to uncheck one of these or check it, so you don't have to take all the layers in the file. But let's do it for this case. So let's add it in. So one of the nice things that we have the ability to do here is one of our recent features in this past half a year or so was this map. So one of the things that I could do is, let's say I want to pick that job. I'm going to filter, and I'm going to jump over. It didn't really zoom to a good location. It's based on where I am at. So all right, so here I'm closer to Cass County. So we have it where you can't see it just yet, but we have some kind of limitations. We don't want to show that data when it's so far zoomed out. It's kind of a performance thing. So you might have to zoom in a little bit before you see some of it, but you're already starting to see those sensitive areas. So when we remember looking at it, I think the water table stuff was more over on this side. So yeah, you start to see you've got the red for the sensitive areas, and you've got the blue that's that water table area. And if they overlap, they overlap. They're gonna do that. They're different layers, so it's no problem there. So all right. So this is just like it's a good way to preview stuff. Honestly, like you upload it, make sure like, hey, does everything look good? What that handle, that data that actually came in those shape files was actually in a different projection even. So within GIS data, there's the kind of different coordinate systems. They call them projections. And so, we need it in a particular projection to look at ours. So there's actually a little conversion that happens when I drug that file into QGIS where we were previewing it. I had done it before. I actually had kind of clicked through a couple dialog boxes, but we also handle that same calculations to convert it to how we need to be able to display it on the map. So we try and take care of as much of that for you as we can. So okay. So now what I want to do, I'm going to go into the app. Let me bring the app up here. And so I've got, this is the group that I picked. And then we're going to pick that particular job that has that sensitive area, so we can kind of go in there and see what's going on. Maybe we can find some of these areas and explore them a little bit on the map. So one of the things that to note, at least initially, about this feature that is that it only works if you've got an active internet connection. So that's a thing that we're probably going to hit at some point, but it was a little bit easier and quicker for us to roll this out to get people using it, to get some feedback from all of you, if you have internet. So if you're out in the field, you're only going to see these if you have a cell connection or if you have a Wi-Fi hotspot. So that might limit the number of people who can use it initially, but it was also a way for us we wanted to get something out so people could start using it. And there's a lot of data and actually helps us. We have ways to more easily manage that if it's an area that, or if it's a cell connection or data. So here's one of the red no spray areas. So you would see that while you're out there. And I just tapped on it. So this is actually, data that you have embedded in that shapefile will show up here. So this is the same if I went into QGIS and did it. So, for this, for this one, I don't think there's a type there. So it's all up to, you and kind of what you put in your data. If I tap on this one, it might be the same thing. So hay ditches. Okay. So that's a different type. So again, this is a no spray map. That's the intention. That's the use case of this particular file, with the sensitive areas. And then like we saw, I think more of the, water table stuff is out, to the western part. So let's see where we're at. I think I kind of lost where I was at. Okay. So there we go. Sorry. I've got we actually have the county borders in here. That dark blue line is actually county borders. So that helped a little bit if I would have been looking at that. So here's the water table stuff. So again, you'll see these now. So while you're out spraying, you'll be able to see all of that. So yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, that's the layers in a nutshell. The next one that I wanted to show is an example of landowner maps. So that's another one of the big common cases that people are requesting and maybe are using other apps or other tools to get that information right now. And the landowner map, so that it usually is available, they may be called like tax parcel maps. And so we're actually getting those from public sources. So, in particular for Cass County has their own little GIS data hub thing. And we found kind of a tax parcel map out there. And what we did, we actually had to do a little bit of processing on it. We wanted to try and see one of the things around data that we want to have in here is like when you get landowner data, you end up getting a lot of, if you have a big city, you get a lot of extra data that's in there that, maybe isn't necessarily, you're not, probably all the time in the city is maybe not where you're looking for the landowner stuff as commonly. It's more when you're out doing right-of-way spraying outside rural. So anyway, so we kind of wanted to test ourselves and sort of see if we had the capability. We got a landowner map, but we also went and found a city map and kind of filtered the two out. So we could, within Cass County, Fargo is one of the big cities. So we were kind of seeing that the size of the data was pretty big, and we wanted to see if we could trim it down. So we actually, this is a representation. This is the file. This is Cass County where we took out the city. So everything in red is a landowner map. And again, this is from the Cass County, North Dakota. There's a GIS page. There's also even North Dakota. We know specifically we've gone out. There's a GIS state level thing, but that's like a ton of data. That's like tax parcel for everybody across the whole entire state. So some of this initially, might not be a thing where, you're going to necessarily find a file and you might not have luck with it. So we can be there to help process these and get them in the right format. Pare them down a little bit, make them smaller so we can get them uploaded and good. So a landowner map, if I just like randomly zoom here, and then there's information, I click on the layer, get the information. I can click on one of these and it'll bring up who it is. So this is what township is in, rural address, all the different attributes. So again, these aren't not something we're making. We're not pulling this from anywhere other than a public data source. So it's all out there for everybody to see. So from our standpoint, I'm going to take that same file that we got and processed, and I'm going to go ahead and upload it through our side. And again, I have another job here that's set up that's just to view this particular data. All right, that is done uploading. So that one took a little while longer, even though the file size I think was fairly close to the same, but file size bigger, and then just the number of the different things in there. For a landowner map, obviously there's a ton of stuff, ton of landowners in a county, kind of scaling with population and things like that. So I have a landowner job that I wanted to throw this into. And I don't know what a good color is. Maybe we'll do some purple. And I'll go ahead and confirm that. So again, it brings it in kind of this preview thing, so you don't have to add it in. You don't have to add it into every single job that you have. You can just pick a particular one. And I'll go ahead and confirm that. So again, I can come back to the dashboard. Again, I just feel it's always a peace of mind just to like make sure everything has been uploaded good. So I'm going to go filter that. I'm going to map. I'm going to go ahead and zoom back over to Cass County. So. All right, so here we are. We're over in Cass County, and now we can see our beautiful purpley pink layer. And I can do the same thing like I did over in the tool. I can click on this, and I can see all of this information. Whose property it is, and a bunch of other information around it that the Cass County provides for those tax parcels. So now let's jump over to the app. I'm going to pull that up here. I'm switching jobs. I'm going to pick that landowner job there. All right, so here's that same data show up in the same color, so we kind of have a consistent interface across everywhere. So again, if you zoom out too far, it's all going to go away because we kind of found that if you zoom out and the more things that you show on a map, the slower it becomes. So for landowner data, you're going to be down close. You're going to be spraying and working and interested in something. So if I wanted to see this right here, I can tap on that, and I can see the same information. Everything that is included in there, even like an individual property address. So that's nice. Just if you want to make sure you have that and track it down, so you see who owns it and everything. So anyway, so that's kind of how the landowner stuff, and so ultimately, what we can provide is really only as good as the data that we can find, and we're looking for public sources of it to help out with the landowner stuff. But ultimately, these are the same types of data that you can also get yourself. We'll be working on kind of finding those processes and streamlining them so that maybe we can provide ultimately landowner data, and then you'll have your own other provided data that you might need to get in there. But the landowner data might be a thing that if we can figure out how to do it at a state level, well, we can do that a lot quicker than maybe an individual can go find their own county or something. So we'll be working on finding ways to provide that data and keeping it updated at a state level for the landowner stuff explicitly, because that's pretty much the most common one that we see people asking for. So yeah, thanks, and I hope to hear from you. And if you're interested in using the feature, let us know. It's kind of in a at this point, kind of end of 2023. We're kind of looking for early adopters of the software to see if they want to try the layers. If you've got data and this looks like a thing you'd be interested in, let us know. We're looking to kind of get a limited number of people in here and testing this out for us as we continue to improve it and making it so that it's another useful tool in your chemical spraying operations.